Alright, so here's my attempt at a how-to video on how to change a tire. In my opinion, on why I think mooses are way easier than tubes. I hear people say all the time that mooses are a pain in the ass, and don't really understand why. I think they might be ordering a moose that's not the right size for your tire because as long as you follow the sizing chart and get the correct size moose for the tire, you don't have to worry about puncturing it. Just got to make sure it's super lubed up, which, yeah, it's messy, but whatever. Um, and yeah, you can really just monkey the thing on as long as you don't break the bead on the tire, which is super easy. I'm gonna try to get a little bit more into detail on that, but yeah, you don't have to worry about puncturing the tube with a moose. So in my opinion, it's way easier. And let's try to do a quick video to show you guys how it's done. All right, so there's the tire. Obviously, I've gone ahead and loosened the bead lock. You need to do that before you do anything. Loosen the bead lock. Next step, what we're going to do now is break the bead of the tire off the rim. And even though this doesn't have air in it, it's a moose, the rubber from the tire still gets seated to the metal of the rim. So that's the first thing you need to do is get that separated so we can start working our levers, our tire irons in there and removing it. So right now I've got it on top of the new tire, place it on the floor, and kind of get your toes on this thing and start weighting it down like that so you can literally see it coming off the rim. And don't need a lot, just need to get some separation going. Start. Alright, what I'm doing now is using the tire irons to help pull the tire off the metal rim so I can fit this other tire iron in between and start getting myself ready to lever this tire off. Another good tip, soapy water all the way around the tire and the rim helps lubricate things, clean things up, and when I'm trying to pull the rubber off of this metal rim, it's going to slide a lot easier because I did that. So just keep that in mind. Here's my soapy rag, getting everything nice and soapy and lubed up so it's a little bit easier on myself when I'm trying to get this off. And again, right now, using a tire iron to pull the the tire down a little bit so I can get my iron in there. I've got 2 irons in. I'm going to go for 3. One second here. This one's a little bent. I mean, I guess screw it. I'll just use it. But I was going to see if I can find a better one. Now that we've got all 3 in there, I want to space them out. They're all so close together. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a little rubber mallet and kind of just move them over a little bit so I can get a better bite out of the tire. I mean, you could do it with the rubber mallet like I was doing before. I guess I could just pick better spots to put the tire irons in. Kind of working it over by hand instead of using the mallet. Okay. Now we got them spread out, so we got a pretty good bite. And one by one, let's start turning these babies over. When you do this, I tuck the tire irons behind the brake rotor, but really you should keep a hand on them so they don't pop up and hit you in the face or something like that by accident. This can happen. Alright, I'm going to try to give the camera a little bit of a better view there. See, the irons are all still in there. We're working the tire off the rim, one side at a time. This side, then we're going to worry about the other side. Remember, lubricate it. Make sure your your rim lock is loosened so you're not fighting against it. And now we're just going to keep repeating the process all the way around the tire. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody, or at least you guys can get a chuckle out of watching me struggle through things. It's really not that hard once you've done it a few times. It's just, I'm pretty good at making things look harder than they should be. A little persuasion to get the tire iron in past the lip of the tire. Makes it so much easier. Another reason why I love mousses, like if I was doing this with a tube, like hammering the tire irons in past the lip of the tire, I'd have to worry about puncturing it, but no need with mousses, man. These things are just, honestly, in my opinion, hassle-free. Gets looser as you go. As you can see, kind of working my way around. Alright, one side's off the rim. Now we're going to do the other one. I might not film this part because it's literally the same thing. Lubricate, get your tire irons in there, work it all the way around. Let's pause. Alright, we got both sides off the rim. The rim is now sitting in the center of the tire. Here's what we do next. Get your tire irons, work it underneath and past the lip, the metal lip, down underneath, and we're gonna go all the way through to the other side. Alright, you guys see how that's all the way through? I'm gonna get another tire iron set up through there, and we're just gonna pry this baby right off the rim. Going with the bead lock first there, so I don't have to worry about it when things are a little tighter. Now when you're doing this, if you got painted rims, this is an important detail. Try to ride on the very top, inside top of your rim, so you're not scratching the visible surface. Your tire will seat against that and hide the top, so you're not going to give any scratches. When you're levering on the other side, I've got old rims, so I don't really care about scratching them, but you might want to put a rag there to protect the other side of your rim, so you're not going to scratch it. But again, this is an old bike with plenty of scratches, and I don't really give a shit about that stuff. So once you get like this much of the tire off, pin that baby down with your shoes, your boots. Look at that. There we go. Now we're ready to hook up new mousse and new tire. I'm going a little bit wider. I went from a 80 to a 90. In Colorado, all the fast guys ran 80s. So I try to be like the cool kids. But out here on the East Coast, everything is so loose. I want a little bit more girth in my front tire there to give me a little bit more forgiveness. Alright, now what I'm going to do is get my grease gun, grease the entire inside of the tube. Less friction, the longer your mousse will last. So I'm going to grease this thing up really good. I'm going to grease the mousse up really good, and I'm going to put it in. I don't need to film that. I think you guys know how to grease shit up. Alright, so I got the mousse all greased up in the new tire. Check out the width on this bad boy. Oh my God, for a front tire, dude, that thing's fat. This is the old one I was running. This is the 80. Yeah, it's an 80, 100, 21. This is a 90, 90, 21. So not as tall, like not as much sidewall width, but it's wider. And I got 60 hours, a little bit more than 60 hours out of this Moose. I don't know if that's good. I think that's good. I put grease zerks on the rims to try to keep it lubricated, and I'm going to do that with this one. But all right, now it's time to put this on the rim. Lay your tire down. If your tire is directional, you want to make sure you get that correct. And this is directional. Yeah, so it goes that way with the brake rotor on that side. So we're just making sure we're putting this in the right way. And we are. Okay, first things first, start with the bead lock. In my opinion, it's easier to start with the bead lock and make sure that that is tucked in nicely. And get your tire irons and get ready to start making your way around the rim. One thing that I do, again, because I don't really care that the rims get scratched, fix this angle a little bit. You can use a bead buddy to help hold the rim and tire in place, and that helps a lot. But what I do is get these needle nose vice grips and literally clamp the rim to hold the tire in place. You guys will see what I'm talking about in a little bit. And honestly, if you just have a buddy to do it, you could just have him hold the tire iron and do that too. But I'm usually doing shit in here by myself, so it's a lot easier to have that. See what I'm doing now? Using this lever to open up the tire a little bit. Using my knee to push the rim down into the tire a little bit. Just little weird little tricks like that just make shit easier. And you kind of don't always learn those until you go through the struggles of trying to do this shit. So I'm literally just putting pressure on my knee, opening the tire up, put a little bit more pressure with my hand here. We're working it on, little by little. Might not seem like it, but it is. Scissor with a lube really helps too, like the lubricant. Just makes it want to go on the tire a lot easier. It might be hard to see on the camera, but I'm literally watching the edges of the tire come up onto the rim, and that's exactly what I want. Just gotta take small bites. Don't try to go too big. Okay, I think it might be time for me to go from the other side and really force this baby on. Just think for a sec. Maybe not. Maybe just keep going along with this. I think it's time to try to go from the other side. When you get enough of the tire on, it'll get tight and you can't really continue with that method. So now we have to pick it up. And similar to how we move the tire off of the rim, you need to come in from this side onto the rim, and we're going to lever the tire in place onto the rim. Pretty much just doing the same thing from the other side of the tire. And again, pressure with your knee helps if you can do it. Definitely helps to have a tire stand. But you guys can see I'm doing it with just my garage. There we go. Okay, we're almost done all the way. About one more bite or two. Alright. That wasn't the bead breaking. That was the bead making itself over the lip of the tire. So we literally have one side of the tire on the rim. All right, now this is the final side. Here's an important tip. If we were doing this with a tube, I would make sure that the valve stem is put in through the rim hole and everything like that. And then you want to inflate the tire to about 2 to 5 PSI so it pulls the tube away from the pinch point. I used to pinch tubes all the time, and that one little trick was a big game changer for me. I stopped pinching tubes after that. Go ahead and put down my old tire, give myself a little bit more cushion to do this on. I should have did that before, but I wasn't thinking. It's hot as hell in this garage and I'm sweating. But all right, let's make our way around this thing. Now, here's where the vice grips, in my opinion, make this job so much easier. You just put that right there and clamp it. We'll make sure it's tight first. And it holds your rim and tire right in place there, and it allows you to work your way around the rim. Another game changer. Honestly, if you care about painted rims, then I suggest using a bead buddy to help hold it right there. They work as well and they won't scratch your rims. But if you've got silver rims and you don't care about scratching them, that method just makes life so much easier. You can see, I mean, it's like having a buddy there to hold the bead. And that works too. If you got a buddy around to help you out, then absolutely, by all means, use that. Okay, let's see. I'm struggling with the bead lock here. Let's check that out. So the moose is pushing the bead lock out. What I need to do is essentially push it in so it's past the rubber and get it seated. I'm gonna kind of cheat and get my tire iron on the rim lock so I can lever it into place. There we go. So what I'm doing here, I've got the tire iron in between the rim and the bead lock. So I'm forcing it down to give myself room to get the tire in between there. And now with another hand, continuing the process. I hope this helps and makes sense to you guys. I mean, if it doesn't, ask questions. I'll answer everything the best I can. Alright, that bead lock is popping out on me. So I'm going to get another tire iron and lever it down. That's what I need to do. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm using this to push the bead lock in to give myself more room to get the tire under it. I should have started with that spot. I kind of wanted to, but I got distracted. And hopefully you guys see me struggle. You guys can learn from it. Like, not make the same stupid mistakes that I'm doing right now. I got the bead-lock where I wanted it to. We're moving our way along after some decent struggle that you guys get to see. I'm dripping sweat. Getting another vice grip to hold this thing in place, give myself a break, maybe get a drink of water, think about my life choices. But you can see, guys, we're like about halfway done. We're about to get to the hard part, where things get tight. I'm trying to move this so you guys can see it. When things get tight, you just gotta slow down and take little bites out of the tire. You can move your vice grips along to help anchor the position. Really makes things a lot easier. See that? Okay. Repeating the process. That thing's about to pop off. I lost my bead there for a second. Here's the bead buddy I was talking about so you guys can see it in action. You kind of just fit it in between the rim. Place it right there. It does the same thing. I guess that's honestly the right tool. I just don't have multiple of them like I do with the vice grips. So yeah, just keep using these things, moving it down. Ooh, it's like 100 degrees on the scratch. because we're at the tight point here, like the last 10, 15, 20% of the tire. And what you want to do is just lever your way and really work this along slowly, because you do not want to snap the bead of the tire. That will ruin the tire. So what I'm going to do is with one iron, just go down and back, slowly moving down. Go really slow. Make little progress at a time. When it gets really tight, I like to use my rubber mallet to help move it over. And then crank again. Slow progress, but it is progress. I'm inching my way along until we get to that final snap point, and it'll just go on. It's really important to go slow here so we do not break the bead. Almost there. Okay guys, I think we're ready to go for like final bite, maybe one or two more, and this thing is going to be done. We're very close. Whoop. Gotta work my iron underneath there again. If I had painted rims, I would restart, but I don't. So I can do this. Last bite, finishing touch. There it is. That's how you install a moose on a tire. I really struggled the most with this rim lock, getting it pressed into the foam of the moose so I could get the tire seated correctly. But dude, if I could do it, you guys can do it, man. I made it look hard. It's not that hard. Just do it right. Thanks for watching. Tighten your rim lock. Don't forget to tighten your rim lock all the way. Make sure that thing's cranked down.